Hey, we're back. So I kind of skipped a little step in that I brought them in because mine go in the garage. So as you can tell, there really is not a huge difference, but it helps it. Um, so I opened up the file that everybody has. This is on my computer right now. It's already set to the settings that draped over mine on my coasters. So once you get the coaster put in, I guess turning on the machine would be good too, huh? I do mine separately and not all at once because with these coasters, they're never the exact height. And just a little bit, I've learned makes a difference. So for me, I always try to look at it and see which side's the flattest so that it, I don't know, looks better. But I've also learned that if you have the lines going up from the smaller point as they go out like this, it tends to actually engrave better. So to make sure I have it right, I watched my square right here. Because of these being longer on some parts than others, I can't really go by the edge of it. So I'll move this around to make sure it's not going too far over on either one. And it just looks like this is the way the coaster is. So despite it not being lined up right here, it is okay. And then once that's checked in XCS, I'll come over and hit the auto measure. Oh, see, I told you I'll make mistakes right along with you. I didn't plug in that part. It goes a lot quicker plugged in, so I tend to use the USB. There we go. Now we can. Okay, so we're gonna hit the auto measure. It'll go over and do it. I like to keep mine at the level that is in about 1.4 to 1.6 for this engraving. I've done it on shorter ones and it is nowhere near the quality that I get this way. So I do mark out my spot. So you hit the flag up here, come down to the rectangle since it's a square, and hit start marking. And then we'll go over and move this to the top corner. But because I want it to overlap, you'll want to go off of it a little bit so that it's still on there, but will overlap the sides. And that's where we get that. And then the next one is diagonal from that. So we'll do the same thing over here. Want both sides to be over the edge a little bit. And as you can see, they're still on it. We'll hit the other side. And then end marking. And you can always add other lines if you need to, in case you didn't know. Once you end marking, you can pick any of these and do more. And we're done with that. So you can see the square is right there. And my design almost fits perfectly in it. And then after that's there, the biggest thing is to make sure that this paper clip is checked. You want to be able to stretch this so that it reaches each side. The middle line right here, and there, and up top and below. Once it goes to a two-way arrow are the ones you're going to want to use to make sure it goes over the sides. So if we go over here, and we put it in the middle about where we want it to go to. I like it to go as far over as I can. And then we'll look over here and it's already lined up perfectly with it. So then we'll come over here and pull it to the other side to make sure the right side goes to the edge. And you can see it's already right on it. So if this weren't the size, you would grab it with the two-way arrow and move only that side to get to it. Okay, and then we're gonna check top and bottom. Yes, this process takes a little bit longer, but it's how I get the results I do, so it's really worth it. Now this one is off. So we want to line it right up with that red line, with the horizontal of the X of the plus sign. And then we'll push it to the top, peek over the edge, make sure it's still all the way on it. Come back over, and we need to pull this side up a little bit. That little bit makes a difference. If I can get it to go. Okay, so obviously I didn't go up enough. It doesn't have to be perfect, but I want to make sure that everybody sees exactly what I'm doing to get it this way. I'm going to take you out of the holder. Okay. So we know it's lined up, ready to go. Make sure this is on output so that it's green. And your settings are all set up. Your power, if you're using an S140 watt. And this is only a possibility of working, depending on the coasters, how the tray is, how well your laser's moving. I mean, there's so many variables. I have had someone else have success with my settings on an S140, so you never know. Your power, I have at 30%. The speed's at 200, and it will do 2 passes. The reason being, the first one, it lays it out really well. The second one cleans it up much better. But I don't want to increase my power or my speed. I like it at this because I know the results are good. With the coasters, I've learned not to do any huge amounts of lines per centimeter. I leave them at 100, and it still does great work. For any pictures like this with the gray, you'll want it on grayscale. Okay, so that's done. And if you'd like to see how this was before I switched it, it is inverted. That was the picture originally. Go to adjust to invert. I don't have anything changed on any of this. We are good as is. So we'll go over here, shut this, and we're ready to get started. And we'll go to process. You can frame if you want, but when you double check that close, I do better that way instead of framing. So it says that for this picture, with the 2 times of passing over it, it's going to be 22 minutes and 38 seconds, which it usually ends about 10 seconds sooner or so. But it's totally worth it with the outcome. We'll go up here, hit start. It'll send the file over. And once it's done there, I'll come over here and press this button when it's ready, and I will check back in a little bit so you don't have to hear all the noise. Okay, it transferred. So this is from my view. I have a stand over right here by me so you can see exactly what I see when it goes. See, it starts right there on it, so you know it's already gonna have that overlap like you want. Doing the overlap is only good on pictures that have an image that will cover the whole thing. If it's the smaller ones, I definitely recommend checking your edges with the red plus sign and the image on the computer. I use my laptop, so I set it right next to my S1 when I'm using it. And we'll check back and see what it looks like soon. Okay, checking back in, see where we're at. Looking good, coming over the sides really well. I love watching these ends and stay up here. I think that's why I also enjoy the laser so much. You take that one thing that's just a rock, basically, and you put something pretty on it, and then it's a whole different thing. Don't ever forget the small things. We'll be back to check again in a little bit. Okay, let's check in again. Sorry about that little bit of jiggle from the corner. Look at that. So pretty. Okay. Had a daughter need So when it gets down to the end and pulls itself back up to go to the second pass, I'll pause it so you can see it up close as to how the first run looks. And watching the second pass go over it, you'll be able to see the changes. It's not for every single one a good thing, but for most of mine, I've done it that same way. Okay, it just popped up to the front, so over here so you can see it. And you can always leave it at that. It doesn't have to be done a second time. I think it has better 3D features this way, but I also like the clarity of it being cleaned up. So that would be 100% up to you. If you're going to do that, I would recommend it running once, seeing if you want it, don't touch anything, and if you want it to go again, then do it from that point. It's of course up to everybody's preference, but I'm going to get that bad boy started again so that we can get done. Hey, just wanting to check back in. It's going down from the top. Once it starts getting further, it's easier to see. But if I turn this the right way, you can see the differences. It just cleans that area up a little bit. Personally, I'd probably recommend leaving it just the one time if the 3D effect is all you're going for. I'll be back. Man, it feels like it's been forever, doesn't it? Well, maybe for me and not you. We are down to about 7 minutes to go. And you're able to see a lot more of the changes. And just as a heads up, if you like what you see and I'm easier to understand and you feel like you can learn a lot from me, it would be very much thanked if you wanted to head over and buy me a coffee. But these will keep on coming, and I will help as many of you as I can if you have a question. I just think lasering should be something others can do and have fun and enjoy without being overwhelmed from how to do it. Be back in a little bit. We're getting closer. We're down to 4.5 minutes to go. And before it's over, I wanted to send a big thank you to the one who told me that I was good at teaching and was patient with me to show him how to do his first coaster. And thank him for the coffee. It was not expected, much appreciated. He knows who he is. But I hope that he can keep learning and that I'm able to help other people the same way. That smile when you first see something that you've created and it looks so beautiful. It just wipes away any of those first ones that you're like, oh my God, I'll never get this, or the anxiety is so strong, I can't do this, there's too much to learn. But I can tell you, you can. I can help you. There are simpler ways, and you know what, we may not do it just like all the people that do, and that use a lot of the words that I've just never been a word person. I am an action person. I like to do. And if you're looking for help, I think I can help you. I have the ability to do mirrors, coasters, cutting wood, doing the tumblers, and I plan on learning more and doing it with you also. So I will be back shortly when this is done. And I wanted to thank anybody else that's come by to see and learn, and I really hope that this has done something to help you. All right, be back soon. Okay, I lied on that. So this is where a lot of the 3D effects are, where the shading and everything would keep it that way. And I do like that you can see the cobblestone, however, I have an issue with it being clean. And it's not even a dirty clean, it's just a clean. I'm sure we all have those wonderful things that will bug you unless you do it. You're not alone if you do. But you can see how it's lightened the whole picture up. And the bottom is still there, it's just brighter. Almost there, guys. 1 minute to go. but I don't want to talk you around. And I don't think you want to hear all this, so see you in a minute. And just like that, we're done. So we'll go over here and see what we have. And that is how you get your beautiful Christmas tree to overlap instead of cutting off as a corner. And it's got all this, so you're literally done. There is nothing else that you have to do to it at all. And I think it looks pretty good still, don't you? If you have any questions regarding doing something that you'd like to see me do, just send me a message in the community, or you can email me at creativelylovangyou@yahoo.com. Thanks, everybody.